Hey, changemakers! Thank you for tuning into the Hacking the Patriarchy podcast. I'm your fervent feminist host, Raven O'Neill, and I get the honors of sitting down weekly with diverse experts from all walks of life to explore ideas, opportunities, and strategies that we can all use to hack our way to better lives within patriarchal societies. If you're ready to hack patriarchal systems and structures, I invite you to join us and help move the needle. Joining me today, please welcome Liz Hansen. Liz is the owner and photographer at Chicago Boudoir Photography, a boutique studio that empowers women to feel confident in their bodies, relationships, and lives. Liz opened her commercial studio in 2018 and has since photographed more than 2,000 women. She's been featured on the TEDx stage, on National Public Radio, and with the Association of International Boudoir Photographers. Liz holds a BA in art and an MA in education. She lives in the Chicago area with her husband and 2 teenage daughters. Please come together and offer Liz the warmest welcome. Welcome to the show, Liz. Today we are talking about boudoir photography. I'm excited to dive into this conversation because it could be considered very polarizing in this moment and probably throughout history, but even more so in this moment in history. I think a great starting place is to talk about how you got into it.
Well, thanks for having me, Raven. It's great to be here. I started out as a photographer that did weddings and portraits and events. And then about 8 years ago, I opened up my own boudoir studio. Now, if you've never heard the word boudoir before, it's a fancy French word that means a woman's bedroom. But what I do as a boudoir photographer is I have created a safe space for women to come create sexy, sensual photos that allows them to feel confident and celebrate their lives.
Let's dive into the juicy bits. So I would say that there are probably 2 sides of the fence here. There might be some gray area, but I imagine people are all about it or totally against it. And just looking at what you've seen, I imagine that people that come to you are for it, but maybe what you hear outside of your work.
So listen, boudoir is a taboo topic, right? Because women coming and celebrating their bodies and openly, showing skin, that is still not socially acceptable in many circles, right? So yes, boudoir is a taboo, controversial kind of business to be in. I have embraced it, and the women who come to my studio are embracing it. And yes, a lot of people think that what I do is like wrong or immoral or exploiting women, right? And I understand that, right? We live in a society that says, quote, good girls don't do stuff like this, right? Good girls don't show skin. Good girls don't celebrate their bodies, right? And so I do fight against that, but not in the way you might think, right? So I'm not out there saying everyone needs to understand this and everyone needs to think it's awesome and enjoy this, right? What I am saying is, if this intrigues you, if this is something you want to do, I would love to meet you and have you in the studio. I'm not out there trying to convince anyone of anything, but rather to put something out there to say, I'm running the Chicago Boudoir Photography Studio because I want women to feel empowered. And if that resonates with you, I'd love to meet you.
That's an excellent point of empowerment. As a feminist, newly accepting that term, I would actually, it's funny, I would have said I sit in that gray area. Like, it's probably not for me, but I feel great for the women that want to do it. I feel that should be empowering for them. And I just kind of wanted to look at what you feel, how you feel that is reinforcing an empowering take on it versus how society, especially in a patriarchal society, might say it's enforcing the opposite. I'm thinking about totally different topic, but all the makeup on TikTok and all of that. And they're like, you're enforcing beauty standards people can't meet. And so just kind of looking at what's behind it and how you feel about that conversation point.
Yeah, so my first question, you said, Raven, you said boudoir is not for me. My first question is, Why is that? What is it about boudoir that is challenging for you? And where did you get those thoughts from? And do you want to continue to believe them, right? Is it because you believe you don't fit into beauty standards so that you should not be photographed? Is it because you believe there is something wrong with nudity or the female body and that it should not be shown? Is it because you believe, I'm too old for something like that? Is it because you believe that there is something wrong with, what is it, the beliefs? What belief system leads us to believe that there's something wrong with women expressing themselves, showing themselves, being documented, having their bodies photographed in an artistic way? What is it, and where did we learn that? So if we rewind the clock like hundreds of years, we come back to some kind of like Puritan religious idea that there's something wrong with the body, that there's something wrong with women, and that there's something wrong with art, right? It's those three things coming together: bodies, women, and art. And boudoir is right in the middle there, right? So what's wrong with the body? I mean, I believe that that the body is actually like a reflection of the divine, right? If we have a creator who's created our bodies, like there's nothing wrong with our body. Our bodies are inherently what allows us to experience life, and there's nothing wrong with the body. Women, we live in a patriarchal society, and women have historically not had as much power as men, right? And so for women to kind of claim their power and say, I'm going to show up and be seen in a boudoir photo shoot, that is pushing against a patriarchal idea that women can't be powerful, right? And then art, right? Like there were times in history when churches burned art and smashed statues, right? Because art was somehow idolatrous or whatever. And I actually don't believe that either. I think art can be an expression of what we value and what we care about and how we see the world and what our place is in the cosmos, right? It helps us understand things that we can't put into words, right? So I think that art and women and bodies come together in boudoir. So they bring together like three like really tricky areas, right, for a patriarchal society. And yet when a woman steps in and says, I want this, I deserve it, there's nothing wrong with this, I think there is some really confident power in that can help women like see themselves in a new light.
Oh, I, it's funny. I have so many thoughts, and now I'm like, "Oh, where do I wanna take this?" I I I would say that it somewhat felt like therapy. You saying that, like, the questions you have to ask yourself in preparing to take that journey would kind of be like therapy. I was like, "Huh, yeah, where did that come from, and why does that sit like that?" And I know for me it is my age and where I am at in life, but then I'm like, "Where did that come from, and why does that matter?" So
Yeah,
that
what is it that we believe that only young, thin women deserve things, right? That only young, thin women are desirable. Like, where did we get that idea, and do we want to hold on to it? Like, personally, I don't want to, right? I want to believe that as I grow in age, I become more powerful and more wise, more desirable, right? Like, but can we challenge the challenge is that society's messages have been so strong and so consistent for so long that some of us don't even really recognize the water we're swimming in. We don't stop. We're just like, oh yeah, of course, young thin women are the most desirous and the most powerful and the best and should be right. But when you rewind that thought, where did that come from? And do I actually want to believe that? Like, do I actually want to believe that as I age, I'm diminished? As I age, I'm less powerful and less beautiful and less desirable? Do I want to believe that? And do I have to believe that? Right? Like, so it's an interesting exercise to try to say, where did that thought come from? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to challenge it? Like, it's fine to have thoughts. We all have got lots of thoughts that come from lots of places. But when you stop and start thinking, is that serving me? Do I want to keep that thought? Do I want to keep thinking that? Is that helping me live my best life? I think that's when we stop and really think about where our thoughts have come from and if they are serving us, that's when we claim our power. We stop living based on the thoughts other people are giving us, and we start thinking, what do I want for myself?
I just had deja vu. I love that because first of all, you said the water we're swimming in, I'm like, "We're frogs being boiled slowly." But I feel like we're already cooked. We're beyond that. It's been so long in history that this has existed. I I do hmm.
Think actually okay, let's put a pin just for a second. Not all cultures have revered youth. There are many cultures that look to the wise older woman as like a source of power and strength, right? Like that might not be the culture you came from. That's not the culture I came from, but that does exist, right? Where older, wiser women are looked up to, right? And so I want to tap into that power, right? Listen, I'm headed into menopause. I'm almost 50, right? And I'm starting to understand kind of women go through so many phases in life, right? We have that young innocent, and then like the archetype of the woman is then you become the mother and then you become the crone, right? Like the older barren woman, right? But like many myths and cultures have honored that crone as having like empathy and wisdom and like healing properties, right? Like, and I want to tap into that as I move out of my fertility and into my menopause years.
Oh, I had a moment there because it's Maiden, Mother, Crone, right? That's the
Yes, maiden,
thing,
mother, exactly. Thank you very
and
yes.
I was
Maiden, mother, crone.
I was thinking more how we kind of respect this more, this part of our brain more, and our mind and our thought process as we age, but we're having a moment, I feel in the past couple years where we talk a lot about feeling into your body, how women have completely lost touch of our natural rhythms. We don't listen to our cycles and all these things. And I thought, yeah, if we're going to respect our minds and our empathy and our thought processes as we age, we should also be feeling more into our bodies, back into our bodies. That's
Well, and there's like a real opportunity in the maiden, mother, crone. Crone offers some real opportunities, right? Like you're no longer maybe breastfeeding, attached to young children, having there's some freedom, right? Maybe you're not bleeding every month anymore, and so you're not having to worry about that, right? Like the crone is not just a bad place to be. It's not just you're old and decrepit, right? You're actually, in some ways, this phase offers a lot of opportunity, freedom, grace, power, empathy, right? That we can embrace and not just be like, I'm old, right? And that's what I want women to tap into. I mean, boudoir is one way to do that, but it's not the only way to do it, right? Honoring yourself, honoring your body, honoring your journey, wherever you're at on it. Each phase has its merits and wonderful pieces of it. And that's what I want women to kind of like open up into. It's not just like, I'm not young and thin. It's like, wow, I'm in this beautiful phase of life and I'm going to honor this, whatever it is right now.
all right. I want to look at, it's got me thinking, I want to look at the different stages. Let's say the maid and the mother and the crone. And in your experience, who chooses to get photographed more often? And maybe we're not naming any names so we can talk about it, but what their mindset is behind it, what you hear their reasoning is.
So women come into the boudoir studio for all different kinds of reasons. Some women are there for happy reasons, right? They might be marrying the love of their life. They might be having their first baby. They might be celebrating their 30th birthday. But then I also have women who come into the studio for more difficult reasons. Maybe they have escaped a domestic violence relationship. Maybe they have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Maybe they have lost someone in their life that they loved and they're feeling like they want to celebrate life and not loss all the time, right? So there's a wide range of reasons that women show up in my studio, but the purpose of them being there in some way is all the same, which is to say, I am worth being documented. I want to take a day to celebrate me, celebrate where I am on my journey and not hide. I want to show my body and not hide anymore. So I love to tell the story about Sarah, who came into my studio. She was 41, and she had a sudden massive heart attack in the middle of the night. Young mom found herself on the floor of her bathroom. She managed to call 911. While she was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, she died, like literally died, and they brought her back to life with CPR. And over the course of the next several weeks, she had to have like a dozen surgeries open heart surgeries and things to, save her life. And she came into my studio on the 1-year anniversary of her heart attack. So that day, a year later, she chose to be with me because she wanted to be there and take nude photos that celebrated her scars and didn't hide them. She didn't want to hide the scars. She didn't want to Photoshop them out. She wanted to celebrate that she was alive. And the reason why I tell that story is that you can do that too without having a heart attack. You can celebrate your body and your scars and your journey just because of where you are right now. I mean, she did it. She kind of got to that place because she'd had this extreme heart attack experience where she died and was brought back to life. But you can do boudoir today just as you are for the exact same reason, to celebrate your body, to be happy to be alive.
Gonna ask a question I don't know if you know the answer to. I don't know at all. But do you know when boudoir photography actually became a thing? Has it been a thing throughout history?
Okay, I mean, photography obviously was invented like in the 1800s, right? But think early art. I mean, so much art is some of our earliest like cave carvings are of nude women, right? And think of, art through the ages that are beautiful paintings of women and stuff. But interestingly, photography was invented and the first photographs are of like street scenes and stuff. But then like within a very few years, guess what? Men started to take pictures of nude women, right? It's been a fascination for a really long time. In about like the 1920s, there was a woman who took a camera out into the forest and took nude pictures of herself kind of dancing in the trees and stuff. And that was sort of some of the first self-portraits we have of a nude woman. But it's really gained steam, I would say, since like about 2000, that women have wanted to do this like specifically at a boudoir studio. And even especially since the pandemic, I've just felt like there's been this urge, this feeling that like life is short, life is fleeting, and I want to capture this moment now.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I could swear that in our discovery call or in your intake form, you had said that your studio during the pandemic or shortly after had become the primary source of income for your family. Am I like making sure?
Yeah. So what happened was, so I opened up my studio and the first like 18 months that I ran the studio, I wasn't able to make any money, right? So I opened up my studio because I felt really strongly. So I had done let me back up just a little bit. I had done a boudoir photo shoot for myself. And I had had like this really, I'm not exaggerating, that it was a big deal for me. I came out of that photo shoot feeling like really wanting to show up in bigger and better ways in my life. And it had been very much out of my comfort zone to do a boudoir photo shoot. I didn't think I was the kind of girl that could do such a thing. But I did it and I got through it and I was like, wow, look at me. Like it was really like it changed how I viewed myself and my own power. And I wanted other women to have that experience as well. So I decided to open up my studio, but I didn't have any business experience. I didn't have any entrepreneurship experience. And I didn't know any other women that were doing something like this. And so it was a big leap for me. I took out a business loan. I'm married. I have 2 kids. Fortunately, at the time, my husband had a job. So we were able to keep like buying groceries, right? But I worked really hard those first 18 months, didn't make any money, finally figured out how to run a business a little bit more successfully. And then the pandemic hit. Right? And I live in Chicago, and here in Chicago, we really were under some very strict guidelines, and I closed for a long time. One of the reasons I had to specifically close is because at my studio, I offer professional hair and makeup services. So when you come to the studio for a photo shoot, we give you lashes and makeup to have you look fabulous for the photo shoot. And I was considered a salon, and hair salons were closed during the pandemic specifically. And so I was shut down for a long time, and that was a really scary time for us. My husband lost his job, and I remember thinking, "Well, it's over. We're not doing the boudoir studio anymore. I tried, it's over." But what I ended up doing was going. I couldn't run my commercial studio, but at home on my laptop, I just really got to work on the website, on my SEO, the search engine optimization, figuring out some of those things that I had never really had time to do because I was too busy at the studio. I ran a COVID donation campaign where if you donated to a nonprofit, Then when we were able to open back up, you'd have a gift certificate for a free photo shoot, things like that. And after a few months, when we were able to open up with still some restrictions and masks and things, but I was able to hit the ground running, and I have just never looked back and been running the studio ever since. So yeah, now I'm the breadwinner for my family. I run this boudoir studio full time. This is what we do. My husband, of course, it does not help run the studio because he's doing something else now, but it's been a journey for sure.
Well, cheers to that. Cheers to running it full time now. I I I want to look at I've obvi it's funny that previous question about how long it has existed. The reason I asked that is because I thought about that Demi Moore cover when she was pregnant back in the day, and how that was just all the talk. People were so appalled or so excited that she had, you know, almost
Bared it all.
bared it all, yeah, while pregnant. And it just got me thinking about w what kind of photos actually happen. Like, are they bearing it all, or are they in beautiful lingerie? Is it everything in between? And how do you, as the photographer, coach them in choosing what they want to show, what they don't want to show, how they want to present?
Yeah, part of boudoir means that how much skin the woman shows is always it's always up to her, right? This is not you never at my studio, you never do anything you don't want to do. Um, so some women come in and want to do full nude, and I love that. There's something really beautiful and really simple and really empowering about doing full nude photos. Women want to wear lingerie, some want to wear a robe, some want to wear jeans and a top, right? Boudoir is not about how much skin you show. Boudoir is about embracing who you are and your sexy side. So I have women come into the studio all the time that want to do a maternity photo shoot, that Demi Moore kind of thing. I think the pregnant body is beautiful, and you never get that moment back when you're expecting a baby, right? So take a photo of it, right? The way I work in terms of coaching women is we do a wardrobe consult at the beginning of your time at my studio, and we decide what it is that you want to wear. What's the vibe that you want to give? Do you want to do sexy, sultry, dark, moody? Or do you want to do light, fun, playful, flirty, right? Or do you want to do a combination of both? And knowing what it is that you are wanting to feel and celebrate during your photo shoot helps me to select wardrobe that will give us that end result, right? And I have stuff that you can wear at the studio. You can bring your own lingerie. I have 6-foot tall Victoria's Secret angel wings. I have robes. I have rose petals. I have shoes, pearls, handcuffs, metal bras, like anything you want to wear, I got stuff. And each woman decides what it is that she wants to feel during her photo shoot. Then I take you out into the studio and I will tell you exactly what to do and how to pose. This is the fun part, right? We've got music playing, there's a little bit of dancing, and I help people kind of get into the groove. Most people don't know how they look on camera. So I have to coach you to turn your face, to turn your body to get the looks that I want, because you're not a professional model, right? You've never done this before. So you don't know. I can see what I want and I can see what I need you to do, but I coach you into that and I help you move your hands and your face and your feet to get the pictures that I want. And then we do something really cool. Right after the photo shoot, I send you to the back to get dressed. By the time you're out of the dressing room, I have a slideshow that I'm going to show you of your pictures. I'm going to show you about 100 pictures in a slideshow. We're going to go through and pick your favorites. And the reason why I want you to see your pictures right away, yes, instant gratification is fun, but also I want you to appreciate these photos that we've created without a filter, without Photoshop. I want you to see how gorgeous and beautiful you are just as you are. Now, if you have like some blemishes or a bruise you want me to take off, like, of course I'm going to do that before we print your final products, but I want you to see those pictures and appreciate yourself just as you are.
Do you do a lot of touching up?
That is completely up to you. So if you want a lot of touching up, I'll do it. If you want none, I'll do it as well. There's no cost either way. It's just personal preference. Some people, they want their stretch marks removed and they say, I just would love a picture where I don't have to see those. Great, I'll take them off for you. Some people are like, no, I earned those stretch marks. I want to keep them, celebrate them. We'll keep them for you. So it's up to you either way. I can appreciate both points of view. Some people saying, this is me, I wanna celebrate me, and some people saying, "I can enjoy this artwork of myself more if you just do a little airbrushing on it. Will you do it?" I'm happy to do that as well.
You do a lot of things. When I think of you do websites, SEO, and you do photography, and I imagine you're editing those photos probably in Photoshop. So your Adobe Suite savvy too. Oh, you're
Yeah, running a small business is like it's wearing all the hats, right? I do outsource some stuff. I do have some employees now. When I first started, I was doing everything myself, trying to figure things out, which was good because I learned a lot of things. Now I do have some people who help me with marketing and things. But yeah, running a small business is not easy. You have to, yes, I am the artist creating the images, and then I'm also running an actual nuts and bolts business that has to run QuickBooks and pay quarterly taxes too, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we talk about that enough. When we speak to entrepreneurship and to being a business owner, there is this idea that you're just gonna do this one thing, and it's like, "Oh, no, you're gonna do all the things." Like, taking time to work on your business, not in your business is
Yes. You think starting a photo studio that all I'm doing is taking pictures, but actually, I mean, taking pictures is the part I love the most, and it's probably also like 5% of what I do.
yeah, yeah, brutal. But kudos to you for getting it all done.
But I also love it too. Like, I love being here talking to you today about what I do, right? I run a Facebook group where I have like 10,000 local women. And I post in there empowering quotes and things that I to help uplift women. Like, I love being there in that Facebook group, right? I love doing all the things. I mean, if you're the kind of person that gets bored at a corporate job doing the same thing over and over again, maybe starting a business is for you because it allows you to do something different every single day.
I say that all the time. I'm like, "Look, the struggle is real. I am challenged with all things. I'm drinking from the fire hose every day, but no day is ever the same. Like, it's never gonna be the same as it was. It's always gonna be different, and that to me is exciting. I enjoy
Absolutely.
that.
I agree.
So, you had mentioned, and now we're so far in this conversation, I don't even remember when it came up, about I think we were talking about the different ages, that mother, maid, and crone, and when you're seeing women come in. But first of all, I thought about leadership and how different levels of leadership might present in the way that they wanna be photographed. And then I thought, "Oh, wouldn't that be fun, like, for executives to do a boudoir photo shoot as one of their, like, empowering." They have, like, group think tanks, and group isn't obviously a good example, but things that you can go do to advance your leadership and to gain the knowledge. And I was like, "Oh, they could do a boudoir photo shoot." And then I thought, so trail of thoughts here that people are gonna really have to try and follow, and I'm sorry that you're having to try and follow it. But then my final thought was, wouldn't it be interesting to photograph women, and it doesn't have to necessarily be boudoir, but to photograph women as they climb the ladder to see what their photos look like throughout that process.
Wow, I love that idea. Well, and I love the idea of women photographing themselves at all stages of their life, right? People often say to me, "Oh, well, I need to lose weight or this or that, whatever." I say, do the photo now, continue on your fitness journey, and do a photo next year too. Do it every year. What photos increase in value over time, right? When you look back at old photos, you're like, "Oh my gosh, look at us 10 years ago," right? Like, it's fun to have the photo shoot now. It's fun to see the photos now, and then it will also be fun to see them in a few years. I have women all the time who come into the studio who say to me, "I wish I'd done this 5 years ago. I wish I'd done this 10 years ago." So, if you're hearing this now, do it now so that in 5 years you can say, "I'm glad I did this 5 years ago."
Yeah, and do it now so that you can do it every couple of years so we can see the progression, like, share that progression. I think that that would be such a fascinating case study of how women choose to present themselves in photography, or how time does over time, over their journey.
Love this idea. A longitudinal photographic research study.
Yeah. I have to imagine, and it's gonna be different for everyone. I'm thinking about the young women, the maiden, and you have the women who are shy and the women who are not, and what that progress looks like. So does the shy woman look completely comfortable and not shy once she's had all these life experiences? Or oh, it's so fascinating. That would be such a fascinating topic.
Yes. I love it. Or even just taking a picture, before you became a mother and after you became a mother, right? And like there's so many like inflection points in our lives that are worth documenting. Yeah. I mean, women often shy away from the camera. They have tons of pictures of their kids and their dogs and everything, but no pictures of themselves, right? So get in front of the camera. Be documented. You're worth it.
That is the perfect dovetail into a question that I want to look at, which is the societal norm, right? So, again, yes, I have a ton of pictures of all the pets and all the kids, and I have some of myself because I'm forced to for this particular production, actually. But, like, society says that for the most part, that women have to be a certain way. And we don't want to be photographed if we're not exactly so. And so, if you could go back and rewrite those norms as a photographer who's experienced this through business for so long, how you might I'm really struggling with that one. Rewrite them.
Yeah. What I love to say is sexy is not a size, sexy is a vibe. Right? So you do not have to be a certain size or age to be sexy and desirable. Sexy is about finding something within yourself, some inner confidence, right? Some inner swagger, right? That's what's sexy, right? It's not about some measurement, right? We get so caught up in like these narrow beauty standards that have been, pushed on us for so long, young, thin. And I just don't believe it. Like, I just reject the idea that sexy has to be, like, one certain way. You can be beautiful and sexy and desirable and worthy at any age and at any size. It comes down to you honoring yourself, you believing that you are worthy and valuable, and then projecting that out. It comes from within and then is projected out. If you I mean, you could be a size 0 and be 21 and not feel valuable and worthy, and you will not project that vibe of sexiness, right? So my job as a boudoir photographer is to help you feel that first so that we can project it and capture it on camera, right? And that can be at any age and any size, right? And I've had women in the studio as old as in their 60s and 70s that are just here for it, right? They have embraced themselves and we created beautiful pictures of them.
Love that. And again, it sounds like you're partially a therapist.
I mean, not licensed, but yeah, I mean, it is sort of a therapy moment, right? To be there to say, I mean, it is, in my opinion, a little bit of a radical act as a woman to say, I'm going to take boudoir photos, right? That pushes against a lot of the things that society has taught us about who's allowed to do this. Young, thin women. Maybe even like fallen women, like prostitutes, sex workers, like only they can be seen like, right? Like it pushes against our ideas of what the body means, what the female body represents, what men are allowed to see or what men are allowed to consume, what we show, right? Like there's so many like things when you show up and say, I'm going to do a boudoir photo shoot, you push up against a lot of societal values, right? And that's what I want women to do and say, here I am. I'm worth it. I have nothing to hide. I'm worthy. I'm beautiful. And I've got pictures to prove it.
I like that. I love that. Show up, do the photos. Do them for yourself
You
and
don't,
push back
it
on
doesn't have to be.
societal.
Yeah, you can share them with a partner if you want. Sure, it makes a great birthday gift, a great anniversary gift. But part of the reason it's a great gift is because you're saying to your partner, I am doing this because I feel confident about myself. And confidence is sexy and attractive, right? So yes, will your partner enjoy looking at the photos? Probably. Yes, definitely. And part of the gift is that you did something. You showed up. You expressed yourself. And that in and of itself is very desirable. So, yeah, is it for a partner? Maybe, but it's really for you.
Since you mentioned partners, I actually want to flip the script a little and look at the conversations you've had with men. And maybe on both sides. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with a man, I'm assuming that you have, who is against it, and then also the conversation with the men who are for it.
Yeah, so, I mean, in particular, my parents, my dad, they don't understand why I want to do this work, and they view it as wrong and kind of immoral, right? And that's okay. They come from a different generation that I don't think has quite embraced the idea of women's power, female power, right? And I think some men feel very threatened by empowered women, right? Because we live in a patriarchal society where typically men have had more power than women. And when women rise up and say, no, I want a seat at the table too, that threatens them and their power and their seat at the table, right? So, I just say it's not for you and that's fine. I'm not here to convince anyone that this is something that they need to do, right? It's fine. You can hold your views. But I will tell you this, I've never had an unhappy husband or fiance or boyfriend. I've had a lot of men book this photo shoot for their partners. They call me and say, I want to book this for my partner. And I've heard back from a lot of partners. They call me later and say, you did such a great job. I love these photos. Thank you so much. Right. So when women actually go through the experience and do the boudoir photos, I've never had an unhappy man. I have had a lot of men tell me to my face that they think that what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm like, secretly, you probably love this gift from your partner. I don't know. Um, I just have kind of come to a place in my life and my career where I'm like, if this is not for you, that's okay. I listen to some music that artists create and I don't love it. And I think, you know what? That wasn't created for me. And that's okay. There's someone out there who loves this. I see art or paintings or music or other things that really speak to me. And I was like, that feels like it was created just for me. And I love that. Someone who's very talented was able to create that for me so that I could enjoy it, right? So if I create photos that intrigue you, that interest you, that make you want to step out of your comfort zone, great. I'd love to talk to you and meet you. If I create pictures that challenge you and that threaten you, I'm sorry, but you can scroll past.
Have to learn to not put any energy into the haters.
Right. Taylor Swift just told us on an interview, your time is expensive and not everyone can afford it. Loved that. Taylor Swift saying, listen, there's people who don't like what I do. There's people tell me I'm terrible all the time, but I don't, I'm a luxury good. And my time and attention, I don't have time for that. And I'm like, yes, Taylor, we all need to learn that, right? There are some people that they can't afford us, right? If I'm not creating something that you appreciate or enjoy, that's on you, not on me.
Beautiful. If you what do you think you would be doing if you weren't doing this?
That's an interesting question. I have like a fantasy of like moving to an island and like running a little like shaved ice stand that rents jet skis and like living. I want to like live on an island, but also run a business that people have a lot of fun with. So like a vacation theme. Yeah. That's like my fantasy business next. Just so I can swim in the ocean every day because I love to swim. I actually live near Lake Michigan here in Chicago, and it is not warm here all the time, but when it is warm, I go out every morning and swim laps in Lake Michigan, and I love being in the water. I feel like I'm like, I don't know, I just like the water speaks to me, it rejuvenates me, and if I could be in a place where I could swim in the water every day of the year, that would make me very happy. So that's why I want to move to an island surrounded by warm water and just swim every day, and then after my morning swim, run my little shaved ice shack and make people happy while they're on vacation. Yeah, I don't know what else I would be doing. I have a master's degree in education. I used to be a teacher. And I've thought about going back to that. And my specialty was ESL, English as a second language. And I would love to live abroad and teach English as well.
You have a lot of opportunity. There's so much you could do pretty much anything.
Hey, the world is my oyster. Lot of options out there, right? I've got 2 kids still at home, so we're, getting them through high school and working on college applications right now, actually, for my oldest. So that's sort of my focus right now. But in a couple years, I'll be an empty nester and maybe I'll be doing something else. We'll see.
I travel the world. That's one thing I don't think I did enough of when I was younger and with my kids. I'm like, when they're gone, I'm going to travel the world. That's what I want to do. Well, we are coming up on time. I love to wrap the show up with 3 hacks. So 3 hacks I think it would be really fun if one of those was something around posing, because even if you're not taking a boudoir photograph, I feel like even photographing yourself, you just don't do it because you're like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands? Kind of feeling. So 3 hacks. I would love if one of those was something on posing or a hack to make your photos feel
Yeah.
easy.
Okay, well, if you are taking let's say you decide you wanna do some selfie boudoir photos at home, and I absolutely encourage this. Here's what I recommend doing. Grab your phone, set it up somehow either on a tripod or a dresser or something, and put it on video. And grab a sheet, grab some lingerie, whatever you want, and take some videos of yourself just kind of moving. Kind of run your fingers through your hair, kind of feel just like what feels good to you. You can always delete it, but then you can go through the video frame by frame and screenshot the moment where you're like, "Oh, there's where right there." You know? Because it's really hard to take selfie pictures of yourself because you just get like the one burst that it gives you. But on a video, you'll have so many options. Do you know what I mean? So look at the camera, look away from the camera, walk away from the camera, walk towards the camera, take a 5-minute video, then go through, see what you got. If you hate it, hit delete. No big deal. Empty the trash, right? No one has to see it. But as you scroll through those frames of the video, you might find something that you really like, screenshot that, and there's your selfie boudoir photo for you.
That. What other we 2 hacks. Don't have to be photography related.
Okay, this is not related at all. Powdered magnesium has changed my life. So you can buy a tub of powdered magnesium at Whole Foods, at grocery stores. I used to get really bad headaches, migraines and stuff, and I went to all the doctors. I went to neurologists, took all these crazy migraine drugs. Turns out I literally had a magnesium deficiency, and a lot of women do. Because if you've had a pregnancy, especially babies like suck nutrients out of your body, and we also eat produce that is grown in magnesium depleted soil, which I did not know. So you think, oh, I'm eating bananas, I'm eating avocados, I must be getting all this magnesium, but you might not be. Anyway, taking a spoonful of powdered magnesium every night has literally improved my health more than any of those pharmaceuticals I tried. So if you've got headaches, if you've got migraines, give that powdered magnesium a try. It's cheap. Just buy it at Whole Foods. Give it a try.
It helps with trouble sleeping too, right?
If you go buy the magnesium pills, it doesn't work. You have to get the powder.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not a doctor. I did not diagnose you, but I wish someone had told me that little hack earlier.
I like it. It was way off script. It was so good. One more.
All right. Hack number 3. I would say hack number 3 is Canva. Have you ever used Canva?
Every day.
Canva.com. You can get a free account. Canva is magic. You want to make holiday cards, you want to make a flyer, you want to blog, you want to look professional and you're winging it because you just started your business. Canva is your friend. It has all these templates. It can really help you look professional. It can help you with your website, with your blog, with your business cards. I use Canva every single day for my business. You can make photo collages. You can do some light photo editing. You can remove backgrounds. I love Canva. And the paid version is worth it if you can afford it. But it's a game changer in terms of how you look online.
That you gave a photography hack, a health hack, and a business hack. That was so well-rounded, just like your background. I love it. Well, for those tuning in, how can they reach you?
Okay, so the best place is to go to my website, chicagoboudoir.com. Boudoir is a tricky word to spell, but it's BOUDOIR.com. Of course, if you were in the Chicago area, get in touch. I'd love to meet you. If you're not, though, still head to my website. I've got a lot of free stuff there you might enjoy. I've got some ebooks. I've got some some affirmation cards you can download, print off, and also a boudoir quiz you can take to see what your unique boudoir style is. So,
Oh,
chicagoboudoir.com.
that's fun. I'm going to put that in the show notes. I'm going to go take that because that's fun. Learn what kind of boudoir you are. And people travel for photography. So if you love what you see, head out to Chicago. Take a mini vacation.
Exactly. Make a weekend out of it. We've got a lot to offer here in Chicago, and you could spend like a self-care weekend.
Well, Liz, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to have this conversation with me.
Thank you so much for having me, Raven. You asked a lot of good, thought-provoking questions.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's episode. For all the juicy deets on this episode, be sure to check out our show notes or give us a holler on Instagram at Hacking the Patriarchy Podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support this podcast, don't be shy. Please share it with your friends. Sharing is caring after all. Lastly, if you'd like to lend your personal support, please take a moment to tell the world about it with a review on your favorite streaming platform. We'd be forever grateful. Tune in again soon to enjoy a brand new episode of the Hacking the Patriarchy podcast. And until next time, keep on hacking, my friends.